Bingo! Let's play a game today and turn decluttering into something less intimidating and far more rewarding. I will have a downloadable bingo card in the description below. I'll also put it on screen now so you can screenshot it. And then let's run around the house and see who wins. Make sure you leave a comment below and include the community so we can compete. Remember, there is a free space in the center, but I would say treat it as one free item you can declutter. It can be outside of the categories listed on the sheet. So you still have to declutter something to get the free space, but it can be anything you want. Decluttering a paperclip would count. One line in a row, any direction. Pat yourself on the back, because that's bingo, baby.
Bingo! I got it.
But if you get a full blackout, which means every single spot has been marked off, then you're gonna hop in the car and go get yourself a little treat.
Where's my treat? Because I've done like 6 hard things today and not one person has put a little snickety snack into my raccoon hand.
You have permission to get yourself a little free oxytocin after the game. All right, let's get started. I just ran 5 miles and I am feeling some kind of way. Do you need some extra energy? Whoosh, 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 whoosh. There you go, let's get started. I have loosely grouped these into the rooms of your house, but of course there may be overlap, especially if you have hot spots, maybe a junk drawer in your kitchen. These areas tend to collect items from all over your home. So you're not limited to the space when I list the item. Ready? Living room, burnt candles. Are you saving burnt candles? Do you own more than one candle? Your home can't compete for scents. Pick the ones you're actively using and pass along the rest. My thrift store sells burnt candles for $1, sometimes less, and so I can try a brand new scent, maybe for a new season, and it doesn't cost me the same as a brand new candle would. So these things will get used. Old magazines. Maybe pass it on to a friend. One of my running friends, Rebecca's, gets the ultra running magazines. After she's read them, she passes them on to me. After I've read them, I pass them along to my friend Erica. So we all get to benefit, but no one's keeping the clutter. I put this in living room, but honestly, it's probably in your storage space. Empty boxes. What is it about our 30s that makes us say, that's a good box?
It's a pretty good box. You never know what the future brings.
Get rid of it. I promise you're not going to use it. Or limit yourself to 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 5 boxes, one small container of boxes. And once it gets past that space or that number, get rid of it. I promise it's not worth it. Bugs thrive in cardboard boxes. They'll eat it, they'll nest in it, they'll hide in it. Get rid of them. Bathroom. Again, this might not be limited to your bathroom, but that's where our fix-it item is. That's why I put it in this room. Quote unquote, I'll fix it someday. If you have not fixed it, let go of the guilt and let go of that item. It's okay. We all have limited time and resources. So if it's been hanging out on that honey-do list for far too long, it is time to go. Hair and body products you don't use. You've probably picked your favorites, and that is okay. You've learned what works for you. And when you're staring at something on the shelf, taking in all the marketing that they've put into the item to tell you this will fix your problem, or you have a problem and therefore you need this, or this is what's keeping you from looking like those models on TV. No, 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 no. You bought it because you were hoodwinked. If it didn't work for your hair, your skin, or your body, pass it on. Extra towels. Now this may mean something different for everyone. For me personally, I would love if we only owned 1 per member of the family. My husband prefers to essentially own 2 per members of the family. That way when we have guests, we have extra on hand. Plus, my 3 and 5-year-old make a huge mess anytime they take a bath, and those big extra old towels that we keep in the drawer are really helpful just to soak up the mess. So he's not wrong, and so far we've chosen to compromise. Moving to the bedroom. Open your closet. Get rid of any broken hangers or any hangers from the factory. Maybe you took something for dry cleaning and it came back on one of those thin wire metal hangers. You don't need it, chuck it. Maybe you bought something at a store and it came on a plastic hanger. Guys, these hangers usually aren't the best, and if they don't match, they're just gonna clink and get locked in when you try to pull something out of a closet, especially if it's overstuffed. Plus, when you see an empty hanger, you're gonna hang something on it. And we don't want extra. We want what we need, and then we wanna move on. Remember in my other video, we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs? The very bottom tier is meeting our basic needs. And we choose to hang out down there, buying new clothes, buying new skincare, buying new cars. When once those items are met, we need to move on to the next step so we can find ourselves and benefit our fellow man. Trying to make our lives more comfortable is going to keep us locked in that bottom tier, focused on ourselves, and selfishness is not the way forward. Let's focus on generosity and passing along what we don't need to benefit others. This is one you might laugh at, but you don't turn 36 without realizing a few things. People tend to hold on to worn out undergarments. If it is stretched out, if it has holes in it, men,
Ew, no, David.
get rid of it. You don't need backups, you don't need spares that are broken and holy. Now, while you're in the closet, are you maybe keeping an item on a top shelf or down in the back corner of your closet that you're keeping out of guilt? This is your free pass to let it go. I'm giving you permission to let it go. If someone is holding something over your head or touching in, did you keep it? Did you use it? Where is that? I've been wondering. That says far more about them than it does about you. Also in your closet, do you have any uncomfy shoes? I feel like as a size 11 shoe wearer, I tend to do this a lot. It rubs me in the back of my ankles, but it's a nice shoe. No more. Especially since becoming a runner, my feet want to be comfortable. If it doesn't work, bye-bye. And loan socks. Do you have socks without a mate? Do your children? Plus, I like to buy socks that come in matching sets. All black anklets, for instance, and then everything else can go. Now let's walk into the kitchen and look through some cupboards. Do you have expired food? This can make you sick. We went to Moab for a week, came back, and our rice container had sprouted a bug. Someone passed on to me an old bag of rice, and I'd mixed it in with the basmati rice we buy from Walmart. Apparently they'd kept it too long, and then I felt bad letting it go to waste. And all it really did was ruin all of my good rice. We had to dump it all out and clean the container and then refill it with our good basmati rice. No harm, no foul, they didn't know. But expired food is not good for you. I just posted a video on how I stay within a budget doing my grocery shopping if you want to learn more. But one of my key tenets is not buying more than we need. I have one small cupboard that's my pantry, and I only keep what can fit in there. Only 2 shelves of that cupboard, really, because the upper items are things like boba pearls that we only use occasionally, the male wrappers, again, that we only use occasionally, things like that. The less you keep, the easier it is to manage your inventory and not let things go bad. We very rarely throw out food in this house, and I'm so thankful. Along that same vein, is there freezer burnt food hiding in your freezer? Again, even with meat, we buy just what we need, and if we don't use it that week, I roll it on to the next week's menu. So my meat is very rarely in the freezer for more than 10 days. So even if I just keep it in a simple Ziploc, it still won't get freezer burnt. I once saw a woman refer to it as freezer fossils, because it goes in there, dies, and petrifies. Stop the habits that's bringing those extra items in. Do you have any unused condiments? Did you maybe buy a condiment for just a one-time meal, and then once that recipe was done, it's just been sitting in your fridge? These open items can grow mold. The expiration dates often refer to closed items. If it's open and sitting in your fridge, consider decluttering it. Now let's talk about dishes. Coffee mugs. Why do we get so emotionally attached to coffee mugs? Pull out all your coffee mugs and start putting them back in the order of favorites. What's your favorite? What's your spouse's favorite? Whatever's left on the counter, when that cupboard gets comfortably full, goes into the decluttering bin. Also look through your cabinets. Did you buy something hoping it would make your items more organized, but in the end it didn't actually help? Organization items tell you it's going to solve all your problems and you're going to have the dream IKEA kitchen. But very rarely does it work for us. I found that the best way to organize my items is simply by having less items. So declutter the organization if it's not serving you. Also, think of sets. I bought my husband a pizza stone for his birthday last year. It came with an extra pan, a pizza server, a pizza cutter, and an extra pair of mittens. Did we need all of those items? No. We had something in all of those categories. Every single one of them was duplicates. But yet I felt like I had to keep it because it was part of a set. You don't need it. And duplicates. We have one metal spatula to flip things. Why would you need more? For a long time, we only had 2 kitchen knives. My husband got one over Christmas, and I found myself holding on to the other 2 just because I didn't know which one to declutter. But now we have the serrated knife plus all 3 of those other knives, and we just don't need that many. Go through your kitchen, look at duplicates, and pick one that can go. And Tupperware, I swear, the moment you close that drawer, close that cabinet, down in that dark shadow, that Tupperware starts to multiply, and then the next time you open the cupboard, it's falling out. Store your Tupperware with the lid on, and then only store what fits comfortably in the space that you've allotted. Everything else has to go, and trust me, you can live with less. We challenge ourselves to eat the leftovers within a day or 2. That way they're still fresh, they're still nutrient rich, and we don't need as many Tupperware containers because they're not all sitting in the fridge full of food that's going bad.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
The kitchen is done. I feel like the kitchen was a hard one. Whew, let's move on to the office. Do you have extra pens? I prefer black ink, so I'm decluttering all my blue ink. I prefer gel pens that write comfortably, so anything that tends to get caught and not write well is gonna go. I have a drawer full of promotional pens. I don't need that many. I keep one on the top of my fridge behind that sign to write on my shopping list. I keep one on the counter to write my workouts, and then 1 or 2 in the office. And truly, that should be all we need. Oh, and I keep one in the car for addressing envelopes. Cards, used or unused. I have a memory bin. I always throw away the envelope the card came in. If the card simply had someone's name written on it and didn't have anything lovingly written by hand, it's gonna go most likely. And then even extra cards I buy. I try not to keep more than 5 unused cards in my desk. Otherwise, they just multiply and they get worn out in my desk versus actually being used. Coupons and inserts. Personally, I switched over to digital coupons by using the Ibotta app on my phone. I highly recommend it. I mentioned some of the specific finds that I use regularly in my minimalist hair care video, if you want to check that out. But I had in my wallet at one point 5 different coupons, and I can't stack those with my digital ones. I have to pick one or the other, and the digital ones are just as good. So the other day while cleaning out my wallet, I tossed all of those. I also had some extra inserts from the newspaper on top of the hutch in the mudroom that I was keeping just in case we needed to order pizza. Technically, I have never ordered pizza off a coupon from an insert. The same coupons on the website. So when we order like a Papa Murphy's pizza, for instance, I'll look on the website for a coupon. A lot of places even have discounts certain days of the week as well, and you wouldn't even need a coupon. Broken electronics. Ooh, that's a hard one. Why do we keep stuff when it's broken? We're hoping to use this old phone, we're hoping to get it repaired, but in the end we end up upgrading. And yet we're afraid to let it go. This would also include extra cords. The other day we needed a cord and I bought it at the thrift store for $2. What if I'd been keeping a cord in my drawer just for it to break or get dusty or the wires to get frayed? When for $2, you can think of it like this. For $2, I paid the thrift store to clean and maintain that inventory, and I benefited for the cost of $2 from not having a junk drawer full of extra cords this whole time. That's worth the $2 to me. It's not expensive to replace. And paper manuals. I got a Ninja Creamy for Christmas and I saved that paper manual for far too long. But I truly don't need it because on Google I can simply type in Ninja Creamy and the model and then my issue or my question. It comes right up instead of rifling through the manual trying to find it in small print. Google can do the search for me and just bring up the relevant paragraph. And this is available for everything. You can even sometimes find tutorials on YouTube where you can learn visually instead of reading the tiny minuscule font on these manuals. All right, we have been through the bedroom, the bathroom, the living room, the office, and the hardest one usually, the kitchen. Did you mark out 5 spaces in a row and get a bingo?
Bingo! I got it.
Did you black out the card and you're on your way to get your sweet treat? Drop a comment and let me know. Wait, before you go, I am so close to 200 subscribers. Would you please consider subscribing? I'd really, really appreciate it. You're welcome back in my home anytime. Bye-bye.